What's going on, guys? It's Coach Ian here from Legacy Endurance, helping you run further, faster, and more focused. And this week we are talking about going faster, and we're talking about getting sub 20 minutes on your 5K race. If you're looking to do that, stick around.
It's go time.
Alright guys, so we're talking about getting under that magic 20-minute mark in the 5K, which means you need to be under 4 minutes per kilometer, 3:58, 57 per kilometer, 6:20, 6:21 per mile. Somewhere in there would get you into that sub 20-minute 5K race time. So how do you get there? Well, here's the deal. It's actually, some people don't really realize this, but a 5K race is not a speed effort. It's actually 90% aerobic. You're using your aerobic system for 90% of that workload. So you can't just rely on speed alone. You have to have the speed, but you have to also have the aerobic base and the capacity to do that. You have to put the pieces together. So sometimes I see people in the camp of, maybe you're training for marathons, half marathons, longer distances, where you strictly want to just rely on that volume to get you that fast time. We're thinking you can just crank out a 5K because you can, do 20K in your sleep, but that's not the case. You need to have that speed component, and the flip side is you can't just have the speed component without the aerobic capacity if you really want to nail that 5K. So you have to put those two pieces together. The third thing that comes into the sort of the pieces of the puzzle is your stride efficiency. If you want to go faster, you have to have an efficient stride, which means you have to work on your technique, your form, your turnover, your cadence, and a couple things you should be doing to do that is running drills every single week. Something as simple as the ABC drills helps you do that. I'll link those up in case you've never seen them before. Speed workout's a great way to build your stride and get the mechanics down that you're going to need to put that speed behind you. Marry that up with your aerobic capacity, and now you're starting to get into the right position. Now, some workouts that you want to consider and use are, you definitely want to use intervals as you're preparing for that 5K race. One of the mistakes I see people make, though, is they figure out what their race pace is day one of their training cycle, and they use that to sort of establish their intervals. And so they figure, okay, my race pace is this 355 per kilometer, 620 per mile. I'm going to do kilometer repeats until I can do 5 of those, 6, 7, 8 of those in a row without stopping or slowly starting to build those together. But you're going to be fighting a losing battle if you're not sort of bringing in the aerobic. And the second thing is, when you're first starting out of the gate, you don't want to be using the race pace specifically. You want to be using a 5K effort. So instead of just going out doing the race pace, it's a recipe for disaster. So you want to be using your 5K effort. So you have to be a little bit modest and sort of, understanding of where you are in the moment. If you're going out and doing an interval, for example, you want to be making sure that it feels like what your current 5K effort is. So you have to ask yourself and be honest, could I maintain this pace for 5Ks? So a classic example of sort of scaling up, and I like to do these workouts off the track, by the way, is you slowly starting to do intervals over time where you're building up the amount of time you're spending at that 5K effort. Not your 5K race pace, the 5K effort. So, week 1 you might be doing, 10 times 2 minutes at your 5K effort, and then the next week you do 10 times 3 minutes, and then the next week you do 10 times 4 minutes with 2 minutes rest between those intervals, where you're slowly starting to bring up the amount of time you're at your perceived 5K effort. Over time, gradually, you will start to get the adaptation you're looking for, and you'll slowly start to get into that race pace. But if you go out day one, pick your race pace and use that for those intervals, you're not going to be successful. It's going to be way harder. So you want to make sure that you're using your effort, 5K effort, not your 5K race pace. As you get closer to race day, there's nothing wrong with getting on the track. Doing a classic workout might be 15 by 400 or 6 to 8 by 1000, at your race pace as you're really starting to fine tune and get that locked in. But in the early stages of your training, you need to be training at your 5K effort, not your 5K race pace. It'll get there, but you have to have that patience. All right, so let's talk about race strategy. The other thing that's really important when you toe the line for your 5K race is the strategy, how you're going to approach that. And a lot of times the perception for people is it's a very short distance, I can get out there and I can crush it. But what happens is a lot of times we go out way too fast and we just mismanage it. So there's a 3-stage approach I like to use in a 5K, and it's called SHARP, CRUISE, push. And so what I mean by that is for that first 1 to 2 kilometers, you want to go out sharp. And what I mean by sharp is you want to be crisp. You don't have a lot of time to correct yourself later on in the race. 5K does go by fairly quickly, but you want to be fairly sharp at the beginning. So for that first kilometer, 2 kilometers, you want to be maybe 2 or 3 seconds per kilometer or mile, just a little bit quicker. You want to be going out nice and sharp, and then you want to get out for the next 2 kilometers and just cruise. Lock in at that pace, the 6:20 per mile, or maybe 3:58 per kilometer, and then be ready for that last kilometer to just push, just give her. You're going to be hurting absolutely at that stage, but if you've managed those first 4 kilometers well, you can get to that finish line in one piece in that last kilometer. You can suffer through that, but it's that first piece going out nice and sharp, being crisp, maybe a few seconds, not 5 or 10 seconds per kilometer too fast, because that's going to kill you. 3-4 seconds per kilometer per mile faster. Be sharp, settle into your cruise pace for the next 2, and then push for that last kilometer, and that's really going to get you the best result. Takes practice, and it's something that's really cool because you can practice that in your training on a regular basis, because you can recover quite quickly from those types of workouts. So give that a try. So that's the goal in your 5K, is to really start to manage it well from the beginning. Let me know in the comments below what your 5K PR is and how close you are to the 20. Maybe you've crushed it already and you're just watching this video. Maybe you're miles away. Whatever it is, comment below. Let me know what your 5K race time, your PB, is right now. Maybe I can help you get under that 20-minute mark. The other thing I'd like you to do is consider subscribing if you're already not one of the members of our community. I'd really appreciate it. Appreciate it if you've liked the video. I'm trying to put these out every single week. If there's something you're looking for, comment below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Happy running. We'll talk to you guys next week.